Hi, welcome to my channel, Mrs. Sippy, the wife, not the state. I talk about my lifestyle and motherhood. Today I will be sharing my baby blues experience and what helped me through that time period. October 4 through October 10 is Mental Illness Awareness Week, so I would love to bring light to the baby blues, an all too common period that about 80% of moms experience right after birth. To be clear, the baby blues is different from postpartum depression, and I will get into the differences later. So in case you don't know, the baby blues are feelings of sadness that a mother may have right after giving birth to their child, and it can last for about a few weeks, but really hits hard the first few days after giving birth. It is caused by the sudden changes in hormones after giving birth, feelings of isolation, being stuck with a newborn, extreme stress, sleep deprivation. To overgeneralize the feelings that women may have during the baby blues, there are feelings of wanting to cry constantly, feeling overwhelmed, cranky, very sleepy, drowsy, inability to make decisions, having difficulty eating, and having feelings that you can't take care of your baby well. Now, to explain the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression, if those symptoms that you're experiencing last longer than, say, a few weeks, or you're having much more severe thoughts such as suicidal ideation, self-harm, harming your child, those are very serious symptoms and definitely need to be checked with a healthcare professional to be diagnosed. And also, if you're having those extreme thoughts, then you can call a hotline center or 911 for immediate care. So before entering my postpartum period, I was pretty nervous because I had a high risk of having postpartum depression because I have a history of depression, severe anxiety, and passive suicidal ideations. I have been working with a therapist for the past 2.5 years, so me and my therapist, we were prepared for whatever happened post-delivery of my baby. But I ended up not getting postpartum depression, which I am truly blessed I did not, because that is such a hard period. But I did go through the baby blues, which about 4 out of 5 moms experience after giving birth. So I feel like it's really important to share my story and my experience so that other moms don't feel so alone during the time period, because having the baby blues and having a newborn can feel so isolating and you may feel so alone. So here's me sharing so that you too don't feel alone. So let's get into it. In total, my baby blues lasted about a month. My baby blues feelings were really severe for me the first 2 weeks and really tapered off near the end of the month. I first realized that I had the baby blues when I was starting to have chest pain and difficulty breathing. So around 5 days postpartum, I scheduled an emergency therapy session with my therapist because I felt like I was dying. I know that sounds super traumatic, but it really felt like I was dying. Like, my chest felt like this, like it was hard to breathe. Like, it was hard to get out the air, like. So I was talking to my therapist about it, and she said, Christy, symptoms of anxiety are manifesting in a physical form, such as you having chest pain and breathing. And I was like, are you sure I don't have a pulmonary embolism, which is like a blood clot in your lung? She's like, I'm pretty sure you don't have a pulmonary embolism. Mind you, when you are post-pregnant and you're stressed, do not go on Google and look for diagnosis for yourself. It's a bad idea. To help restore my breathing pattern, my therapist really used my sense of smell to help calm me down and calm my anxiety. First, she told me to get a vapor rub, one of those minty stuff that you put on your chest when you're sick, and just practice the act of taking deep breaths and smelling the vapor rub. Smell the mint and take a big exhale. Using my sense of smell really helped calm me down. In addition to the vapor rub, she also said get peppermint essential oil and rub it on my pillow so that when I'm sleeping at night, it can help me focus on the smell rather than focus on the feelings of like I'm dying. Or every time I recognized that my breathing was really hard, then I would just put the peppermint oil on a little washcloth and I would just smell it. I felt like a crack addict because every time I was stressed out, I would just like smell this washcloth like it was pretty hilarious. And in addition to the vapor rub and using peppermint oil to help calm me down, she also said to focus on smells around my house. Man, my coffee in the morning and smelling that really became a ritual. Another alarming feeling that I had postpartum during my baby blues was resentment towards my baby. I think this was one of the more alarming ones. Feeling like you're dying really sucked, but resenting your baby is like another sucky feeling. Like, there were thoughts I didn't love my baby, I didn't want to return home after taking a walk by myself. It was pretty alarming. What kind of mother doesn't love their child? And each time these resentful thoughts came in, I would resent myself, and it just felt like an endless cycle of mom guilt. So of course I talked to my therapist, and she reassured me that these thoughts are normal, and she helped validate me. Like, she had to remind me, like, Christy, the reason why you are resenting your child is because you are going through a drastic change in your life. You are going through sleep deprivation, bodily changes, hormonal changes, loss of freedom. So you are bound to have resentment towards your child. I personally needed constant validation that what I'm going through is hard and you're bound to have negative thoughts. And one of those include not loving your child. Now, regarding not loving your child, that thought really kept bothering me, and my therapist said, Christy, you do love your child. It's just hard to feel it right now because, one, you essentially just met him with your eyes just a few days ago, and two, you haven't gotten to know his personality yet, so as he grows and grows, it'll be easier to have that feeling of love. But you have that love for your child. Biologically, truly, you love your child. And now I feel like I love my child. But yeah, that's the tough one. So any of you mamas having that feeling, I feel you, man. I feel you. Another feeling that I tackled during my baby blues were feeling of grief. Grieving my old life, grieving the freedom that I used to have, grieving my old body. So let's talk about grieving my old life. Man, FOMO, you thought you had FOMO, but before you had a baby, but man, when you have a baby, you have super FOMO. Or at least for me. I would see my friends do like small social distance gatherings. I would feel so jealous because I had a baby. I can't just leave the house whenever I want to, and I was grieving my freedom for sure. Another thing that I was grieving was my body. You know, I gained 20 pounds after my pregnancy, and I also had all these new stretch marks around my breasts, around my hips, around my stomach, and it was hard to look at myself in the mirror. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it still is hard to look at myself in the mirror. I'm still working on that. But for me, what is helping me to get over that grief is just to tell myself when I look in the mirror, combat those negative thoughts of feeling ugly with, this body made a human being. I am a warrior. These stretch marks are my warrior scars. I am a beautiful mom, a beautiful woman, because I am. Easier said than done, because obviously I'm still going through difficulties with insecurity. But I have to remind myself to say that in front of the mirror. Women, we gotta stop talking bad about ourselves. You know, we gotta talk awesome about ourselves. We gotta say how good we are, how beautiful we are. No more putting each other down, no more putting ourselves down. Another feeling that I had during the baby blues were extreme anxiety and worry that my child was just going to die. Like, I have to whisper that. Like, I can't say that out loud. What if he doesn't wake up in the middle of the night? I would constantly check if he was breathing. Put my hand gently on his chest, even if it might wake him up, or put my finger, like lick my finger, then put it under his nose to feel if I could feel the breath on my wet finger. Another one, I would be scared of holding him while I'm walking down the stairs, because what if I just trip and fall with him? Or what if I'm just carrying him and all of a sudden I just drop him on the head? The worst one for me was, because he was a pandemic baby, what if my son contracted COVID and then died? Man, COVID just added a whole nother level of stress, okay? Pandemic moms, you hear me? Oh, okay, we definitely have gone through the ringer. So to help me with these horrible thoughts, I honestly just had to learn how to trust God more and just remember that God's will be done. So I can't keep worrying about my child, just continue to do the best, and it's in God's hands. Okay, another feeling I had during the baby blues was feeling like a zombie. Vinny was on the colicky side, and I just wasn't getting consolidated sleep more than 2 or 3 hours, and it felt like literal torture, and I was just exhausted. I had zero self-care. I would probably shower once a week, not change my clothes days on end. I was wearing the same robe over and over again. I couldn't tell between night or day, because days would just melt together because sleep basically didn't really exist. Talked to my therapist about this zombie feeling that I'm having. Again, she validated me. This is so okay for you to feel this, because literally in war they use sleep deprivation as a torture technique. That actually made me really laugh, so that really helped me. I still think about it and laugh about it to this day. Like, babies are just like mini torture machines. So after she validated me, she's like, all right, we need to get you back onto your self-care routine. Start with one task. For me, that was changing my clothes. That first task really helped me flip a switch in my brain to recognize, okay, this is night when you wear your pajamas, and this is day when you change in the AM. And then she said, all right, great job, Christy, let's add another small task. Then I added brushing my teeth. Wow, my mouth feels clean. Adding 2 things to my routine, changing and brushing my teeth. I already felt more beautiful just because, like, you know, you're taking care of yourself. I kept adding more and more small tasks to my routine in the morning and the night. First I went from changing my clothes, then brushing my teeth, then combing my hair. That one was nice because it feels like a massage. Then applying face cream. And then I got to the harder tasks. I started showering on a regular basis. Then I added taking a walk, reading the Bible. Then when I was ready, I finally added exercise to my routine. And that felt like such a great accomplishment. And it really helped me get out of feeling like a total zombie. What I had to remind myself was, good days and bad days ebb and flow. So sometimes you might not even be able to get to any part of your routine, and that is okay. Just start over again the next day with another small task. Start with that small task, like just changing your clothes. So that's what really helped me. So that was my baby blues experience. Thank you so much for listening to my journey. Now, if you are going through any mental, emotional, physical changes, please consult a healthcare provider for a best plan of action for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Know that you are not alone and that you are loved. God bless you. Bye.